there was a street that I just passed, and it said pasa tiempo, and in Spanish, pass tiempo is time. And then it got me thinking, you know what? How do you pass your time? Okay? And one of my favorite acronyms that I got, some people like to call them downloads, divine whispers, intuition, whatever. Message from the I Am, was this acronym that was like, hey, your T is your gold. And that's an acronym for time, energy, and attention. Okay? So, when you really understand time, energy, and attention with, mindful intention, your life really starts to change, because then you have to learn how to value your T and what T actually is, and then you look to see what, who, and where do you give your T to. How do you pass your time? Well, however you pass your time is where you're giving your energy and what you're giving your attention to. So it's good to do a little analysis of that from time to time. I call it your peace pie. Look at your pie of time, look at what you're doing and how you're spending it, and then how much of that actually brings you peace. And how can you put peace into those pieces of your pie? Well, you got to put peace into yourself. You got to know what peace is, and you got to have the power of peace from within. And that's what I help people with. I help people understand how and why their nervous systems got hijacked. Like, why are they so stressed, and why are they so anxiety ridden, and why are they in so much mental, emotional, even physical pain? And when you get real with yourself in this way, you become like an excavator. It's like know thyself, like an MFer. You get to know all your parts, okay? And then you get to see how and why you feel discombobulated and disconnected and like mistrusting of so many things and so many people and your own self. You get dialed into those parts that are cross-wired, and then you rewire, and you understand how to do that because you have to know physiology and psychology. This, self-care process is a spiritual process. It's just this real relationship that you build with yourself to become the optimal version of yourself. Okay, someone that you really feel good with and about, and where you're dialed into your inner best friend, and you understand your inner adversary like really well. You know where it all really comes from. So you're able to outwit it on the regular, and that's why you learn all of these cool tools and mindfulness tools and processes and healing modalities that you can dive into, so that, and I don't know if I said this earlier, the whole hijacking of our nervous system and our vagus nerve, that's really where trauma is stored. And so when you discover this, and then you figure out how to reset your baseline, your default system, then you start putting your wellness in your hands. Because now what you're doing is you're addressing your neurochemistry, your neurological impulses, those thoughts and feelings that you have that may be occurring quite a bit, that is robbing you of vitality. So you get real curious about what you do, why you do what you do, what you think, what you say, why do you think and say what you do, blah, 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 yada, yada, na, 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 na. Figure out all these wounds, dive into the 5 soul wounds, which are abandonment, betrayal, injustice, rejection, and humiliation. And you can go back into your past and see how often your immediate caretakers were potentially creating this wound, and then get curious about the symptoms. And then you can see how a lot of scenarios and a lot of people in your present time are replaying that pain. And so when you can understand your pain, those deeper pains, and you can see your symptoms, well, now you start to know yourself in a different way. And then you can decide if you want to keep being that way. And why would you want to keep being that way if it's like a sabotaging protective mechanism that doesn't serve you anymore and is robbing you of energy, because everybody gives a shit about their immunity, but no one really wants to do the work to like power that baby up. And that's what I'm talking about. So if you want more vitality, creativity, joy, prosperity, then you got to understand what you're doing to jack with your energy. And believe it or not, a lot of it is coming from our thinking. when you understand the mind, and you understand how the mind and the body are interfacing, and you understand how they both function, let's just say some of the functioning is like effed up, like fucked up functioning. Now you get to do something about it. It's not your fault that you got defaulted into a victimhood mentality and a disempowered, disembodied self. That's not your fault, okay? However, it is your responsibility to do something about it. And if you want to do something about it, you can. And I highly recommend you do. Because the rewards, as difficult as it is to go through that transmutation and that transformation and that transparency with your own self and that purification process, and purification does not have to do with perfection, and that's like a whole nother video in itself. Because if you look at the word imperfection, if you separate it, it's I'm perfect ion. So look up ion and see that there's perfection within imperfection. Because why? That goes back to duality and polarity. We're two things at the same time. So let's just rectify it and start dialing into the understanding of how and why are we absolutely precious and perfect. Why do we actually matter? Start to get dialed into your worth and your value from the inside, from the right places, and watch your life flourish. You will start to flourish. Things will, the things that do not serve you and the people that don't serve you will start to just fall off and be taken away, and just go through that as mindful as possible, because it's all happening for a greater purpose so that you can live a more exceptional life. Why? Because you deserve it. Just for being born, you deserve to be happy and joyful and at peace, okay, and prosperous in all ways, okay? You can design the life that you desire. You can curate it, but you have to cure thyself of all the things that led you to create a life that you're miserable in the first place, and then do something about it. And guess what? We're all in this hula mushy goo together. So let's just do the cleanup, man, and let's create a better self and a better world for the greater good of all. Because who doesn't want peace? All right? I think we've done the whole division, divided, fight, destroy, destruct, and compete long enough. Okay? It's time for cooperation and collaboration, my people. Okay, so get on the Paz Mesa train, which means peace within. Follow me at Janie the Mindfulness Coach. You can also go to JanieTerrazas.com and get your Know Thyself Jumpstarter kit, since we've been talking about that. All right, peace be in you. Thank you for watching. Be sure to connect with me for more mindfulness tips and tools.